Hey, Steve, the president still seems, at least partly, to be pulling his punches on talking about doing something to China, somehow getting reimbursed for their role in all of this, or some type of punitive action, because people attribute that to still wanting the trade deal to succeed. Do you eventually think that there's going to be something that we're going to ask for China to reimburse the world or the United States for at this point? And do you think that the trade talks are making it less likely that he's too vociferous about that right at this point?
Just go back to what Andrew said a minute ago. Look, we've got 30 million people unemployed. You have, hundreds of thousands of people around the world dead. You have economic carnage everywhere. And remember, it's not just the cash we put in, it's the opportunity cost of what we've had to forego. No, the Chinese Communist Party they're knowingly responsible for this, as the president said. Let's leave aside the fact of what they've been doing in these labs. Let's leave aside the fact of do they have a biological weapons program or not. Investigations at the intelligence level with all these nations combined at the health level, at the public health services, that'll be full investigations of that. We know for a fact they knew they had human transmission and community spread in mid to late December. They knew this and they lied. They came to the White House and signed a trade deal, the trade deal you're talking about, and President Trump reiterated last night they never said a word about this. They had the World Health Organization come out on the 14th of January, put out a tweet saying, after consultation with senior members of the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, they've told us there's no human-to-human transmission. These are bald-faced lies. At the same time, they're going around the world vacuuming up in Europe, Brazil, Australia, and the United States, all the personal protective equipment, which is the key part for actually doing testing and also protecting the doctor and nurses teams that were so essential to save lives in places like Italy and in Brooklyn and Queens. No, they're directly responsible. This is going to have to, the people of the world are going to demand an accounting. They're going to demand a responsibility. And the Chinese Communist Party is going to have to pay. Look, President Trump forced them into a trade deal they definitely didn't want to do, right? But I think that's been overcome by events to a degree about they have to answer for this first. All the things about IP protection, forced technology transfers, all of that are very important. But they have to answer this first. And I got to tell you, I think the world's going to hold them in judgment, and that judgment is not going to be very pretty. They owe trillions, if not tens of trillions of dollars. Every casket you see in Hart Island in that mass grave has a lawyer associated with it, and it should. Okay? Every cough they're talking about now, you talk about opening up. We're trying to work through what even the liabilities are for businesses, right? It's one of the reasons President Trump had the meeting. Mitch McConnell's talking about does the government get involved even in that? Every one of those coughs are going to have a lawyer, too. So the Chinese Communist Party knew about this. They turned a blind eye to it. And particularly when they had it in their own country, they tried to protect it going around the rest of China, but they didn't care about it going around the rest of the world. Right. This goes back to what I said at Andrew Ross Sorkin's conference in November. Okay, they're the enemy of the Chinese people. They're the enemy of the citizens of the United States, and they're enemy of mankind. And they have to be held accountable, and they have to be held responsible for this.